866-2336. So those are two topics we've talked about for a while now. There wasn't a lot going on in the news. So in honor of PETA, I thought I would take a skinned cat and beat a dead horse with it. So that's my tribute to PETA today. Let's get to your phone calls and see what it is you want to talk about. Let's head off to New Jersey. Sean, welcome to the program.
Hey, Kevin. I have a question for you.
All right.
I was hoping that you could help me with my thought process.
Sure.
I'm going to be doing my owner-operator, but I'm doing the work right now, figuring out the business, doing all that stuff. So the question I have for you is proprietary logistical network grouping, where businesses like the Hunt, JB Hunt 360, they have everybody on board, pretty much from shipper to receiver. And you've got counting, dispatch, carrier, GPS tracking, all the way down to receiving. And how an owner-operator falls into the launch or growth stage of the business life cycle, which I say they're creating a barrier to entry from old technology to new technology. So how do you think one can fall into, if you're being an owner-operator, to the new business life cycle of this new API technology?
I'm not sure if I completely understand the question. I think maybe I should. Well, let's go back to something you said. Did you say they were creating a barrier?
Yes, because
what's the barrier?
To entry? Well, the barrier is the old antiquated system that they have, which is pretty much from shipper to receiver, where you have.
Okay.
So now what we're going into is a new age, new technology of application program interface, which is everything is cloud-based.
Right.
So
right.
JB Hunt, they spent, they are going into this strong. They spent over $100 million during their second round of funding. So they are creating, as I look at it, this application grouping so that they can essentially go right to the chase. Check it out. You guys want to come along with us? You could be able to.
Let me stop you there so I understand the process all the way through, because JB Hunt going directly to the shipper, that's been happening for 80 years.
Yes, but under an electronic data exchange, not under a cloud-based.
Okay. That's just new technology, though. I'm not sure I see the barrier. I don't see any difference. That's why I'm trying to kind of walk along one step at a time here so I understand the question.
So as I look at it, you feed a mouse a cookie, he's going to want some milk. Right now, as this application, this API service that they have is used by everybody. So when you go into their model, you can be able to use their platform and be able to be brought right to the shipper and go right to the receiver, and your truck is tracked. It is given on to the shippers. That invoice is then put all the way through to the receiver. So they are creating their own subscription-based model where it would say that, hey, we have a platform that is proprietary to our own platform of subscribers that have come along with us from shipping to both points.
Right. Now, so let me jump in just so we're clear, because that would also be the same as Uber, Convoy, C.H. Robinson, Coyote. I could keep going on because just about everybody is heading in that direction to their own proprietary subscription service, kind of. We could use that term. So you're clear on that, right? This isn't just JB Hunt. It's the industry moving in that direction.
Let me stop you right there.
Okay.
The problem is that with Uber and the other digital brokerages that are out there, their TMS systems that they're using are not on the same program, are not on the same level as the JB Hunts of the leaders. For example, You can go to Uber Freight right now, and some guy that's developing hammers, says, "Hey Uber, I want you to pick these hammers up, and deliver them all the way to Miami." So they put that on the load board. Load board guy goes, JNM Trucking, goes up, picks up the hammers, goes all the way down to Miami. He now drops them off, and through that whole transaction, the drop-off point is some swap meet. So here's the guy sitting there. He hands the paperwork, the bill of lading, and he signs it. It's now gone through a whole tracking, a series all the way back to the receiver, and nothing has been on the same program. You've now put it through this electronic data exchange of events, sequence of events, where one computer is talking with another computer, which is talking to another one and another one. They're not all on the same keel. So that's the model.
Let me stop you there, because I'm getting more confused instead of more clear. Maybe let's go back to the end again. Ask me the question, and let's see if I can answer whatever question it is you have.
Okay. So the question that I have is that, do you feel that with this, I call it the subscription-based platform that they're developing, that this proprietary software will go directly to shippers, thus disrupting the cost of the contract rates for owner-operators going and trying to get those contract rates? Do you think that will disrupt those contract rates?
Yes and no. Everything affects rates. Everything. That it's supply and demand. If this is more efficient, it will drive rates down. And that's the point of the digital brokering and using technology to track trucks and trailers, so that we can do a better job of matching capacity to demand. That's the whole point of the technology. We have a lot of trucks that run around empty while freight sits on the dock waiting to be picked up, because we don't have a good matching service the way and this isn't a perfect example, but the airline industry. They don't fly around with very many empty seats. It's not cost effective. So they have a pretty good system of matching the passengers to the seats available. We're not good at that in trucking. We will have 10 empty trucks run right by a dock with the load sitting there with nobody to move it. So the idea behind the idea behind that is we need to be more efficient in trucking. But guess what? The more efficient we become, the more we drive prices down. So to answer the question, of course it has to have an impact on rate. Almost everything does. Is it a bad impact? I don't think so. I think it's just an advance. I think that we should be more efficient as an industry, because everybody pays the cost of our inefficiency. Now, because rates go down, that makes the business even more competitive. You better be good at managing your cost, which a lot of smaller carriers aren't. So, but that's business, and I'm okay with that. Now, I don't think there's any barrier here, though. That's kind of what confused me. I think you can go make money because of this technology.
Yeah, exactly. But Kevin, with everything that you have within technology, somebody has to suffer because of this low-hanging fruit. You're going to cut off. You get one positive, you got to go back 2 steps. So with this new technology, it's going to be cutting out some of the back office. It's going to be cutting out jobs. People look at, hey, can we go to this technology, cut out 10 people, and save ourselves, $400,000 a year in operating costs?
Absolutely. That's what technology always does.
So that's where it drives me my point where you said a couple weeks ago where you're like, there's going to be a bloodbath. And so,
absolutely.
So with my background in just trying to be able to study an industry, it's like, well, is there going to be a multiple of issues that are going to be happening, or are we trying to find the canary in the cave, saying, oh, that's what's
no. And I also said that I've been hearing for 30 years that the owner-operator is going to disappear, and I've said they're wrong every time, and I'll say they're wrong again. The owner-operator is not going to disappear because of this. There will be a bloodbath. I absolutely predict that, and I'm okay with it. That's business. That's what makes us better. It's competition, and some people get hurt in competition. There are winners and there are losers in life and in business. And I think that's the best thing that could happen, that we have that competition and people do get beat and people do lose, because then you have to be better. And that's what I'm saying. As an industry, I think this is good. It may drive rates down as we become more efficient, but we're a horribly inefficient industry and we affect the price of everything. So, yeah, lots of carriers are going to go out of business. This technology will change things, but we still need trucks. We will still always have owner operators. So I see almost all of it as a positive. I do realize it's a race to the bottom in rates, and that's why I try to teach people how not to join that race. How to understand that's where the industry's going. You're never going to stop that. That's what business does. That's what technology does. We could think of 1,000 technologies that have taken jobs away from people. It's what it does every single time. The better technology gets, the more efficient we get at doing something, the fewer people we need. And everybody says, but we're going to put everybody out of work. Well, this started 150 years ago, and we haven't put everybody out of work yet. As a matter of fact, we have more people working in our economy right now than almost any other time in history.
Yeah, well, I understand that, and those are good words, and that's great advice. I'm always just having this in the back of my mind. There's going to be these owner-operators and these brokers. And I just heard something the other day on Freightways. They have a webinar that goes out, and they were talking about brokers, and they had the same thought process that you do. So maybe I shouldn't be so like focused on that one point.
I don't think you should be, really. Yeah, I don't think there's a barrier at all. In fact, I think it's the opposite. We're taking barriers down. And you know what? Let me get to a break, because I've got to get to a break. But I'm going to come back and I'm going to address that, because it's a good topic. It's hard to get your head around. But I'm going to address that and tie it into my open when we get back. Stick around here on the Road Dog, Sirius XM 146. I'm Kevin Rutherford.